Hello, I am Aziz Haniffa, the Executive Editor of India Abroad, and welcome to another episode of the Trailblazers, an interview series showcasing stories of Indian American immigrants from different fields. Our guest today is prominent immigration attorney, entrepreneur and philanthropist Sheela Murthy, who is the founder of the Murthy Law Firm, a leading immigration law firm based in suburban Baltimore. Welcome to the show, Sheela. Such a pleasure to be here with you. I believe you were an army brat and you travel all across India, and your first visit to the United States was to participate in a moot court at the United Nations. Can you speak to that experience and also your impressions of the US at the time, which was, I guess, your first part of the American journey?
Sure. So I grew up an army brat in India, traveled to different cities with my father who was in the army. And then I was very fortunate that I was able to participate in the Philip Jessup International Law Moot Court competition in 1985. So I came first all India, both individually and as a team from the University Law College, Bangalore. And so we ended up representing India at the World Jessup International Law Moot Court competition, then in New York City in March, April of 1985. And we were very fortunate. I was the third best individual oralist in the international divisions. And our team, the Indian team, came second as a team in the written memorials.
Your then boyfriend and now your husband, MurthyNayak, was instrumental in some ways in coaxing you to come to the US. Can you talk to that human interest part of your life?
Sure. So I'd met my husband in August after coming back from the Philip Jessup Moot Court competitions. And we knew we kind of liked each other. They were the right sparks. And so when I said...
And what was he doing at the time?
He was studying his master's at Purdue.
Oh, I see. Okay.
At Purdue. He was doing his Master of Fine Arts, Master of Arts in Photography. And then he ended up teaching at Purdue. But he said, you'll get into Harvard with your credentials and your qualifications. And I said, you think I will? Because I thought there's no way I would be eligible. And he said, go ahead and apply. If you write a good essay and you explain to them why you want to pursue your education, you probably have a pretty good shot at it.
And probably had a vested interest also. He wanted you to come back.
He wanted me to come to the United States and at least give it a shot. And so I applied. Bingo, I got in. And so it gave us an opportunity to get to know each other a little bit better. And then finally we ended up actually getting married in Maryland. A year after I finished my LLM.
And can you talk to your Harvard experience? It must have been new in the sense that you probably lived in Cambridge, probably at Harvard itself.
Yes.
Can you talk to that experience?
Well, Harvard was an overwhelming experience. You know, you're new to the country, new to the culture.
And then you're at Harvard also, you know, it's not like any university. So
you're new in a new country. It's cold weather in the winter. You know, you come in August, September, it starts to get freezing cold, there's snow. You can't understand the thick American accents back then. And you're learning in a brand new Socratic method of education instead of the lecture style which we were used to. So
the cramming that we are used to.
And here it was all about analyzing, dissecting, evaluating, interacting, and showing that you have absorbed it at a higher level, which was a lot for a person just coming into the country.
And then after graduating from Harvard, you stayed on here and worked, or did you go back?
So after completing my LLM from Harvard Law School, I was able to get a really nice job at a major international law firm in New York City that actually was at that point trying to open an office in India. One of the earliest law firms from the United States trying to set up in India. But I was an international associate for about a year and a half, and then worked with them on an H-1B as well. But I never really got excited with the idea of New York, of that concrete jungle. I missed
living in New York.
That was tough for me. I was craving the greenery, the space, the collegiality and friendship of like a smaller town. And so when I would visit my sister-in-law, my husband's sister lived in Ellicott City, Maryland, and they still live here, lived there after 40 years, for more than 40 years. I would visit, and people were so warm and friendly and affectionate in Maryland.
Yeah.
So I said to my husband, why don't we try and find something in Maryland?
Yeah.
So I applied to actually a headhunter.
Yeah.
Found me a job with a law firm. Got me an interview.
Yeah.
With a law firm in downtown Baltimore.
Yeah.
I hit it off, and I got a job as a young associate.
Yeah.
Loved it, enjoyed it, learned, but was doing corporate law, real estate law, and a little bit of immigration law.
Yeah.
But started doing immigration research for them.
Yeah.
And before you know it, I started collecting a few clients and growing it, but it was still a very small proportion of the practice.
Yeah.
But then the real estate work started to dry up in the late 1980s.
Yes.
So I changed to another law firm.
Yeah.
Actually, Ron Shapiro and Olander at that point.
Yeah.
And that law firm, I also did real estate law, and I was trying to grow my immigration practice. But I knew at that time, if I don't love it, if there's a problem, I'm just going to start my own practice, because if I'm working 10 or 15 hours a day, why not do it for myself and truly live the American dream at some point?
What made you commit yourself to immigration law and then start your own firm?
So what actually motivated me to start my firm was I had a really unpleasant experience with my then immigration lawyer, actually from New York, who was never returning phone calls, never returning messages. And it was the day predating the internet, so I date myself. And it was so frustrating and very depressing and very nerve-wracking because it's a long process. And it was those days just a few years, but I remember it was a lot of sleepless nights wondering what is going on with our immigration. And so I thought, let me start a firm where the focus is taking care of people, guiding people, helping them, genuinely with helping them. The only time I got a call from the attorney in the 3 or 4 years was to ask for more fees. I thought, of course you need fees to pay your bills, but that cannot be our focus. Our focus has to be taking care of people and giving them outstanding service with a caring and dedicated heart. In fact, one of the things I always teach my staff is, from a client's perspective, I don't care how much you know unless I know how much you care. And so our attitude has to be about caring and taking care of people. So that was the foundation of the firm. And from that, the attitude, we really, in a way, took off right at the start, the cusp where the internet was just starting to take off in the early 1990s. We were one of the first law firms in the world on the internet. We are still the world's most popular legal website, even though we don't have thousands and thousands of lawyers across the globe. And it's a testament both to the content, knowledge, and information that the Murthy Law Firm provides and Murthy.com provides to people, but it's also a testament that till today, this country is still a magnet for people to come to, the best and the brightest from around the world. I don't know how long that will continue with the current political climate that we are in.
Sheela, if you can talk to some of the core mission of your law firm, and also the fact that you all have been innovative, that in terms you all got a website and an online presence, etc.
Our focus and goal has always been to empower and educate the client so that they can understand the incredibly complex and long process that they go through. It has been a mission of service, caring, empowering, and helping the client to succeed. We are about 100 employees in Baltimore County, Maryland. We're another about 30 people or 35 people in India, headquartered in Chennai, with liaison offices in Mumbai and Hyderabad. Our goal always is to provide outstanding care and attention to empower people. And the lawyers that we hire focus again on helping and taking care and empowering clients. The law firm, its success, its name, its reputation, Murthy.com is a household name in the world of almost every immigrant coming to the United States from any country, not just from India. Whether you're a German professor, a Turkish professor, I've met people, engineers, doctors. So we represent all professions, all occupations, all jobs, from H1s to L1s to green cards to national interest waivers to extraordinary abilities to all of the gamut of cases. We represent universities, hospitals, tech companies, startups, well-established companies, the largest banks and financial institutions in the country, the largest insurance companies in the country.
When you got into immigration law and then started to build your business, as a woman, as an immigrant, you really started off with a lot of strikes, And like they say in baseball, how did you get to first base before you started being a batter with hitting home runs?
Yeah. A lot of people ask me that, hey, you have 3 strikes against you. You're a woman, you're an immigrant, you're a minority.
Yeah.
How do you deal with it? But my philosophy is very simple. If you turn things on its head, you turn lemons into lemonade, you look at the positive, then I actually think what people may look at as 3 strikes are actually my 3 biggest assets. Because being a woman, there is a perception, which is real, that we are more empathetic and sensitive and caring. Being an immigrant, I can tell immigrants, look, I know and feel the pain you're going through. I've gone through your process.
Yeah.
So being a woman, an immigrant, and being a minority, you can relate. Being brown-skinned, you relate to the white and the black. You relate to all the entire spectrum of colors because you're sort of in between. So I actually feel I hold a trump card. I never look at whatever God has given me as a negative. I look at it as incredible, positive, that I can now share with the world in a positive, empowering, and uplifting way.
For your clients, in some way, the American dream really starts with you. You sort of enable them, you give them the confidence, and I'm sure it's extremely fulfilling. In today's toxic environment with all the xenophobia and the sort of anti-immigrant fervor, how do you deal with all of that? Because I'm sure, unlike at a time when America was very welcoming in that sense, where it was just the process that was protracted. Today, there are sort of all kinds of other extenuating factors that go into this. So how challenging has it become?
It is definitely far more challenging today to practice immigration law. The government is issuing a lot more RFEs, or requests for evidence, a lot of notices of intentions to deny, NOIDs, notice of intentions to revoke, at an unprecedented level that has not been seen ever. I've been practicing immigration law for about 30 years, never seen this type of attitude and mentality. But as the saying goes, when it gets tough, the tough get going. And so my attitude is, what are you going to do to prevent me and my clients from getting the approval? The law has not changed. The Constitution has not been torn up. The US Constitution is very much alive and strong. The executive cannot become the legislature. There is a balance of powers in this country. And so I tell people, don't give up hope. Challenge the government. There are absolutely legal ways in which you file an appeal, file the motion to reopen, sue them in federal district court, take it as far as you can, because you are eligible and entitled to get this approval. Do not put your tail between your legs and run, because we have nothing to hide.
Yeah.
We are the reason America is a great country. We are certainly one of the very important reasons. And when I say we, I mean the collective we as immigrants.
Yes.
When you think about it, that 50% of the Nobel Prize winners in science and technology are immigrants. Every major name that you can think of, from Einstein onwards, have been immigrants to this country. How can we say immigrants are the problem of America? For a person and a president where 2 of his 3 wives are immigrants,
Absolutely.
Excuse me, there's a problem in not recognizing and embracing the fact that we are a nation of immigrants.
You are also a philanthropist. You've launched, along with your husband, Vasant, the MurthyNayak Foundation. Can you talk to the foundation's work? I remember.
Absolutely. So actually what really started the foundation was back in 2001 when 9/11 happened, because I was working in New York. I thought, but for the grace of God, that could have been me that went down in the Twin Towers building, if my law firm was located in that building.
Yeah.
And so both Vasant and I said, God has been good to us. Let us use this opportunity to start something so that we can give back both to the country of our birth, India, and to our adopted country, the United States of America, and empower other people so that they can enjoy some of the fruits and empower and change their lives, their families' lives, their community, and that way the world will be a better place, and building these bridges. So 9/11 actually started it, because our foundation started at the end of 2001. what we decided was, again, to help both countries. And my father, who came from a very poor family, often would say to us, Sheela, if you ever make money in your life, it is your obligation, it is your dharma and your karma to empower and help other people so that they can rise up in life. He feels that he got opportunities as a poor child. They often described himself as the child of a poor school teacher. He studied under streetlights with borrowed textbooks, came top 0.1% in engineering college to get into the best engineering college in the state of Karnataka, graduated and then joined the army. So if he hadn't done what he did, we wouldn't have been in a position to have studied in English schools. And of course, I would not have been able to be a good lawyer. So I feel like it's our obligation to give back. And so when Vasant and I discussed how can we do this, we thought instead of just giving it in pieces, let's set up a foundation and plan very seriously how we can give back money. Our focus is education, women, children, and immigrants and immigration policies. And again, the whole idea is if you educate a child, you change that child's future, that child's family's future, you change the community's future. When you empower a woman, you empower the home and you give her the strength to basically truly impact the family. And then when you take care of immigrants and immigration policy, and so we support the American Immigration Council every year because, and I was $1 million donor for them as well.
And in that context, like some of the initial Indian American South Asian philanthropists who were very much into giving, where their philanthropy would extend into India, or perhaps in the building of temples and other religious institutions, you were also, as much as you were giving back to India and empowering women and children, etc., you were also very much into mainstream philanthropy.
The United States really has such a well-established system for philanthropy. The United Way has been doing this for 125 years. It's got transparency, it's got accountability, there are systems in place. So it made sense to get engaged at a local level because we wanted to empower the local population in the state of Maryland, where I've grown up and lived for so many years. And so we decided, let's get engaged with the United Way. Let's get engaged with the Girl Scouts and other organizations. Also, United Way wanted to expand and go into India and create this global footprint of spreading philanthropy and looking at it from a different angle, like you said, not from the small, temples and small religious institutions, but more going mainstream in terms of truly embracing and empowering and uplifting entire populations by focusing on the foundation, like education. So to us, it was very important. It gives me an opportunity to interact with other philanthropists in the community. So our actually motto for the MurthyNayak Foundation is from Baltimore to Bangalore, each life matters. The B2B, not the B2B business to business, but Baltimore to Bangalore. And the whole concept of truly uplifting from a foundational level and creating an impact that will last practically forever, because you change that family and that community forever.
You felt it is important that if you made it here, that part of your philanthropy also has to be in America.
100%. As they often say, right, to whom much is given, much is expected.
Yes.
My philosophy was, this country has been very good to me. It's my adopted country. I chose to live here. I didn't come here because I was born here, like most Americans. I came because I chose to. I respected and admire the freedoms and the opportunities. I respect and admire the rule of law, the Constitution and what it stands for. And I hope we continue to maintain that, because I felt that I did want to make sure that the people I live with and work with on a daily basis have opportunities. I was blessed to have it. I worked hard and came up, but my parents sacrificed, my community sacrificed, my teachers. We never go at it alone. We may think we did it by ourselves, but it takes a village to working together. And so I wanted to be that impetus and that force and provide those opportunities for other people to come up.
I remember covering your appointment as the president of the Maryland Chamber of Commerce. And the Maryland Chamber of Commerce was not just another Chamber of Commerce because you had the IT, biotechnology of the I-270 corridor. It was almost an incubator for some of the greatest innovations that came out in this country. And you, I believe, was not just the first Indian American president, but the first Asian American president.
Correct.
Can you talk to that experience?
Sure. So when I was asked to join the Maryland Chamber Board of Directors, I remember thinking, I don't have time to do another organization. So I initially said no to the then CEO who had asked me to join. But then when the CEO mentioned, you understand this is the second time in the history of the Maryland State Chamber of Commerce that a woman will become the chair of the board, the chairwoman of the board, the chair of the board. I said, oh my God, now I can't say no. I said, you know exactly what to say. You punched the right buttons for me to say, accept it. And so I decided that we needed to have a voice. We needed to represent the chamber and show that it could comprise of businesses of all kinds. So it's a wonderful opportunity to showcase its vibrancy, its diversity in every form and fashion because it is the statewide Chamber of Commerce. I enjoyed doing it. I did it for 2 years. We've set up a wonderful system of process systems. And in fact, I have now created/resurrected something that was dormant and dead in the Maryland Chamber called the Maryland Chamber Foundation, which, because of me, is now getting a new lease on life. It was created, it was vacant, they did nothing with the Chamber Foundation, and now we are trying to resurrect it and give it, and focus again on P-Tech and education and empowering and workforce empowerment so that children and their families can get education and be better prepared with vocational training, and then companies can get the workforce required. So the win-win for both employers and employees, so that, again, we raise the standard of living of these children and give companies the employees they need. So I help do that with the Maryland Chamber of Commerce.
To inject a little bit of levity in terms of the famous laws of science about opposites attract, etc., you're such a people person, you're articulate, you are gung-ho, you have so much of gusto, you take a room by storm and you deliver these dynamic speeches, etc. And Vasant is such a low-key, an artist probably in every sense of the word, the quintessential, introverted artist, etc. How you make this thing work and make it work for so many years. I believe you all have probably been married for quite a few decades.
Yeah.
How you have made it work?
So actually, I met Vasant, the love of my life, in the Alliance Française in Bangalore, where he was having a photography show and I was teaching and studying French at that time whilst doing my law college. We just became friends. It was, I thought, a lovely human being, very kind, very smart, very caring. He was studying here. He's the opposite. He's very quiet, very introverted. He's at peace with himself and his soul. Yeah. He doesn't need to meet people, go to parties, go and speak at events. Yeah. But he's like the quiet, silent rock that is behind me. He loves me unconditionally. He supports me, he empowers me, and he nurtures me. We are actually the exact opposites, and as opposites attract, I energize him with my extrovert energy and people person. I give him fun and excitement in his life. Yeah. He gives me calmness, stability, strength. There's this unconditional feeling of love and protection that I have never felt except with him. So it's been over 30 years that we've been married. And it is one of the best things that has ever happened in my life because he really compliments me in every which way. You know, I'm the gung-ho, I'm the face of the firm, I speak, I do the keynotes, I do the rah-rah speeches. At the back, he's making sure everything is in order. The website, if we are the world's most popular legal website, if we get the millions of hits, back I remember in 95, 96, we were getting 3 million unique visitors to the Murthy Law Firm website close to, 25 years ago. He is the brains behind all of that. So in a sense, we are different. We are our traditional roles have been reversed because usually the men are the ones who are thumping their chest and tooting their horn and out in the public, whereas the woman at the back is in the background supporting, loving, encouraging, and maintaining, holding the fort. Vasant, to a large extent, has been that by holding the fort, by supporting me, loving me, guiding me, protecting me. but is very comfortable pushing me in the front, unlike a lot of men who tend to be insecure and not want their wives to be shining in the limelight.
Coming to an interesting Maryland and, in fact, American experience, you had the honor of throwing out the first pitch at a Baltimore Orioles game in Camden Yard. How was that experience and how did it all come about?
So I was the chair of the board of the Girl Scouts of Central Maryland. And we were celebrating the 50 years of the Girl Scouts membership, the Girl Scouts having started in Maryland, and 100 years of the Girl Scouts of the United States. And so it was a very important watershed moment. The Girl Scouts asked the Orioles, and the Orioles said they would be delighted to have the Girl Scouts participate in the opening ceremonies, and for me, as the chair of the board, to throw the first pitch. So I had to go practice my pitching skills. Generally, presidents and VIPs get the opportunity and the honor and privilege of throwing the first pitch, and here I was, not having played baseball as a child, to be having the privilege of throwing the first pitch. So that was really fun and enjoyable, and I know Vasant has some beautiful photos and maybe even a clip on the website of me throwing the first pitch on our website. But it was truly an honor. And again, it's a testament to helping and working with the community. And so you get opportunities like this only when you get involved with the mainstream, charities and organizations.
Thank you very much, Sheela. It's been an absolute pleasure and delight. And thank you for your hospitality and for inviting us to your beautiful home. What a pleasure. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
All the very best.
Thank you.